your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
You're listening to Reignite, a podcast. I know I've made that joke already, but we haven't played for a month, so let's see what happens. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Now that we're fresh out of indentured servitude, maybe it's time to keep our promise to the scary lady who rescued us from Darkspawn. Off to Sundermount we go to present Marathari with an amulet. I almost called her Mabari. That is not what her name is. Her name is Marathari. The Dalish are, understandably, wary of our approach, but we are expected, so we get something of a free pass to at least keep breathing until they decide otherwise. Marathari asks Hawk to bring the amulet to the top of the mountain, let her apprentice do some magic over it, and then bring it back. Once that's done, then we're done. Oh, but also, can we adopt Meryl?
You make it sound like it's our choice when it's really not.
It really isn't. It's more like, hey, you need another magic user in your party, right? Right? Boy, do I have a deal for you.
I was going to say, I already have several at this point. We're collecting them.
What's one more?
I mean, there is kind of a big difference between this one and the others.
Yes. Mage squad. Mage squad. Anyway, what squad did you bring?
That's a great question. I wish I had my notes in front of me.
Whoops.
Whoops, indeed.
I did not take notes, so I'm gonna hope that I remember.
You didn't take notes? Gasp.
Well, I took notes, but I didn't take notes on that specific thing. I forgot to write down.
There's a chance that I didn't either. I did not. But I'm pretty sure I took.
Who do you think you took?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I took Varric, Fenris, and emo mage boy.
Anders.
Yeah, he has a name, I guess.
Be nice. I'm nice about the people you like. Name one time.
Let's check the tape. Clip show. If I had the time.
I don't think I've ever been mean to anyone that you liked.
I mean, probably not. I don't know.
Because I am a nice person. I am very kind and benevolent.
Kind and nice are very different things.
I know, but I am both of those things. I am both kind and nice. Anyway.
Who did you bring? Now that all that's happened, I can't edit any of this out. So I guess we're stuck with it.
I'm fairly certain I brought Bethany, Anders, and Varric.
That sounds about right.
I've been trying to bring Bethany to things more.
Gee, I can't imagine why.
Because she's my sister.
Right, of course.
And I love her.
Right.
We're friends.
Right, the opposite reasons of why I don't bring Carver anywhere.
Because Carver is terrible.
The worst.
Somebody in our Discord is pro Carver, though. And we really need to sit down and, read the reasons that they're pro Carver.
Yeah.
I have not read that yet. But I will. I promise.
I mean, I will say Carver is still the best warrior you have in the sense that he's the one who will most likely go along with your shit. The other two will have complaints.
That's true. Well, for you, because you're a mage.
Yes.
And everything you do is wrong.
That's true.
Everything you do is a crime.
Yeah, my existence
just
is
like
a crime.
In real life.
Yeah, I know. I was just going to say, that sounds a little close to home. I don't know that I love that.
Anyway, so when we make our way to Sundermount, a side quest duty happens that we will discuss in depth towards the end of this act. It is attached to a DLC character named Sebastian, who we have possibly glimpsed by now.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen him?
He's been around.
He's something.
Looking rich and foppish, just hanging around.
And Scottish.
And very Scottish.
Why is he Scottish?
I don't know. Every place has a north, right? I don't know. That's a Doctor Who joke that I don't even think applies, but, here we are.
Lots of planets have a north.
Yeah.
This is true.
It's true.
I'm sorry. Of all the fandoms that I thought we would bring into this podcast, Doctor Who is not on the list.
No. Although it doesn't not make sense either, but neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. So Duty just turned out to be a simple fight against mercenaries. There is no dialogue, which I will complain about when we are getting into the DLC for good old Sebastian. But as usual, Shem are not welcome among the Dalish. How did you handle this interaction?
I tried to be diplomatic. I also tried to get Fenris to help me, and he looked at me and was like, what do you want me to do?
Oh, because I'm an elf?
Yeah, pretty much. I got one of those. And
because I'm an elf?
Rightfully so. Rightfully so, I got what I deserved.
And all elves know each other?
Basically that, and not so many words.
So I was sassy. I don't remember what the dialogue was exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was something along the lines of like, I don't know, guys. I just work here.
Yeah, I'm just following orders.
I'm doing what I was told. It happens so rarely. There is a very nice thing Marathari says to Hawk. There is a light in your heart, human.
Very nice.
And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, like overwhelmingly nice. I feel like Varric gave her side eye after that. Like, do you know something I don't know?
By light, do you mean bug zapper? Because I think there's a bug zapper in my heart.
By light, do you mean light amounts of humor and awkward conversations? Because I'm good at that.
We're asked to take Meryl with us. What is your response to that?
Sure, why not?
I said, why?
Yeah.
We get very little information about that.
No, yeah.
But like I said in the summary, we are told that in order to complete this promise that we made to Asha Belinar, we are to take the amulet up to the top of Sundermount. Marathari's apprentice will do some jiggery pokery over it, and then we will come back down.
Yeah, and I mostly openly agreed because I'm at this point, my Hawk is basically like, I just want this to be done. I made a promise to a hot but scary witch. I want to just move on before someone rips off my skin.
A beautiful, scary lady.
I mean, most of my life is dictated that way, if I'm honest.
Right? You're beautiful and scary. I will do whatever you ask.
Usually the one precedes the former. I mean, or something. They are related often. Words are hard.
Words are hard. I have 2 degrees in them, and they're still hard for me. All right. So Meryl, we meet her. She's a maid. She's really cute.
She's adorable and very sweet.
She's very sweet and adorable. Her nickname becomes Daisy, I think.
Yeah, because she likes flowers.
Yeah, she's very cute. It turns out that she is actually also from Ferelden. And my favorite quote from her about Ferelden was, Ferelden wasn't that brown.
Which is also poking fun at the critiques of Dragon Age Origins on a meta level, which I really love, honestly.
I love that too, because if you think about it, it kind of was.
It is very brown. I mean, that was the critique of games in the 2000s also, is just like even shooters and like action games all were very brown and green because it was a lot of solid colors for the rendering because it made it easier. I think about games like Halo where like Blood Gulch was green and brown and like this big wasteland kind of area.
I like that quote though.
I just like it the way in which Meryl is awkward because it's a familiar awkward. Like I might have been that at one point, although I'm not anymore, but also I recognize it in friends that I find charming and adorable also that are kind of like.
You mean an autistic kind of awkward?
I mean, yes. I mean, you could.
You mean the tism?
Yes. I mean, you could be this awkward without, but it does also speak to the kind of person who might be on the spectrum as well, and showing it in a way that's like, you know, sometimes people are just like this. It's just another thing, you know. It's normalizing it a bit.
There's a point where you make a joke and she's like, "That was a joke."
Right? I understood it was a joke.
I got that was a joke.
Basically, going all Captain America and going, I understood that reference.
I'm able to discern social mechanics. And, like, to me, that says autism. To me, that says you don't quite understand what people are saying unless they're being very literal to you, and you've had to learn over time to pick up on those social cues.
Yeah.
But they don't always make sense. That's what that says to me. The Keeper did mention to us that Meryl was a mage, but I feel like Hawk should have inferred that.
I mean, especially my Hawk should have absolutely inferred that.
But I also feel like maybe Hawk just doesn't know that much about the Dalish. Like, we know about the Dalish
Right.
because we've interacted with them as the Warden. But maybe Hawk just didn't really know that much about the Dalish.
It's possible. It's hard to tell what Hawk knows. Like, Hawk kind of feels like a blank slate a little bit, like a true Thembo, in the sense that they kind of are along for the ride. And then depending on how you play them, they lean in certain directions. But they are kind of the Labrador, like, yeah, I'm just here to be here. I'm just excited to be here. Let's go.
Yeah.
Kind of a vibe. But then when we get to the barrier that we need to pass to get to the peak.
Well, before we get to the barrier,
Oh.
I want to talk about the Dalish person that we run into.
Oh, yes, right.
This warrior who, like, treats Meryl like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And we don't know why.
Nope.
Like, he's very much like, you're going to take this trash with you when you leave, right?
Yeah, like clearly there's an animosity towards Meryl that is like kind of focused here, and we at this point have no understanding to why. Is she an outsider? Is she not really Dalish? Is like we have no idea. We just don't know.
As far as we can discern at this moment is she has made some kind of decision that everyone in the clan just doesn't approve of, and it results in her leaving is this decision.
Right. And like we get glimpses of the fact that she's planning to leave no matter what. Like even if they didn't want her to go, like she also feels this pull to leaving as well, this need to move beyond the tribe.
Yeah. There's a lot of tension among the Dalish, and Meryl says you're not really seeing the Dalish at their best. But honestly, when do we, as the player, ever see the Dalish at their best? And this is not a slight against the Dalish. I just feel like the Dalish have been through it every time we interact with them.
Right. Are you referring to the werewolves that nobody remembers, that we'll never hear about again?
The werewolves, what happened to the mage in Awakening and
right.
her clan.
Right.
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. It begins with a V, I think. But, like, they've been through some shit.
Yeah.
And every time we interact with them, something is going wrong.
Basically.
So we never get to see the Dalish just, like, happy.
I mean, to be fair, I think that's also a side effect of living in the world of Ferelden and Dragon Age and all of that,
That is
too.
also fair. When have we ever met a happy person in the Dragon Age series?
I mean, Varric is very happy. Dagna and Varric are both very happy. Maybe it's a dwarf thing.
The happiest characters in the game. And also, I think Scout Harding has a generally happy disposition, so maybe it's just a surface dwarf thing.
It could be, yeah.
Anyway, so we do encounter this barrier, and Meryl is opening the way forward. She does it with blood magic, so now we can guess why everybody hates her.
Yeah, and of course you can imagine how excited Fenris was about this.
Oh, and Anders, too.
Yeah.
Anders was pissed about it.
Yeah.
Like, Anders even pointed out, like, that's basically just inviting demons to come take you. And Meryl says, that won't happen. That's extremely arrogant.
It is, but also I feel like it's funny, like while everyone else is outraged, I feel like Hawk, you can be outraged, but like the snarky and positive lines are both basically like, I don't know, whatever, what's the difference, right? Like, you know, I mean, also it does feel like Hawk is out of their depth a bit here, and so you're expected to rely on your companions for like where to lean. It's definitely played to the player as this is, everyone think this is really bad, but Meryl thinks it's not. Like you are meant to be leery of this, but I don't know. I mean, for some strange reason, I kind of trust Meryl. After only knowing her a short time, I have no explanation for that other than maybe her disposition.
So my feelings about blood magic, as me, Frankie, a writer, a person who writes fantasy and does storytelling, is that I think that there is nothing wrong with using your own blood.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with using ethically sourced blood.
Oh, God.
Like, if it's yours, fine.
Do as you will.
Right. It's when you use the blood of others that
Right.
I am against it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't quite apply here. It doesn't even matter if it's your blood. Any kind of blood magic is an invitation to demons. I don't think it should be that way in the world of Dragon Age. If I were in the writer's room, that is not how I would write it.
Right.
But I'm not in the writer's room. I have no say. So based on Dragon Age and how we've interacted with blood magic so far, I personally am wary of it. I wouldn't trust it because we have seen what it does to mages. That every mage that has resorted to blood magic has done so because they were backed against a wall, and it has resulted in them turning into an abomination. And it was never by their choice. It was never something that they actively chose to do. So seeing someone choose to engage in blood magic when I, as the player, have seen people resort to it as their last line of defense and what happens to them, it feels like playing with fire. It feels like you are making light of a thing that has destroyed so many mages.
Sure, but I think it's important to highlight that you're saying as a player. Because Hawk...
Right. I'm talking about me, Frankie, not Hawk necessarily.
Right, because Hawk has no context, as far as I know, about blood magic, as far as we can tell, has never even
just
encountered it.
What the stories are.
Right.
I think.
For sure.
So I think my Hawk, having been raised by a mage, having a mage sibling, would also still be wary of it because of this sense of horror stories and things that could happen to the people that they love.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think my Hawk is kind of on the opposite end. The pure exhaustion of just being demonized for using magic at all. My logic is, what's one different kind of magic? I don't know a lot about blood magic other than what my father has told me. And honestly, I am constantly beaten down for my use of regular magic. So what's the difference? We're all going to be persecuted anyway. And I think that makes sense, right? Because being an ally versus being in the shoes of the hate are two different things, right? They are comparable in the sense that you both are moving towards a similar goal and cause and support system, but it's definitely always going to be different when you're in the shoes of versus you're an ally too. And I think that's kind of where my Hawk is coming from.
Yeah, that's fair. But once we clear the barrier, we find out that we're in a graveyard for the Dalish elders, and now we have to fight them.
Yeah, that's a very Dragon Age-y thing to throw at us. Like, hey, welcome to the graveyard. Now you're going to fight the undead. Have fun.
We've fought some skeletons. Now we do a ritual.
Yeah.
And when the ritual is done, who should appear but Flemeth herself? She's back.
Yeah. And starts to go on and on about her possible outcome and stuff with Morrigan. And you can, at one point, as Hawk, go, who's Morrigan? What are you talking about? Because the player knows, but the character doesn't.
Yeah. Flemeth says something that hit me real hard, which was the people bend their knee too quickly.
Yeah.
Which, as someone who has played all the games, and with the Veilguard coming out, I'm just like, ah!
Yeah.
Oh, that line. That line has aged extremely well.
Yeah.
Oh, Boise. We do find out that the magic Flemeth performed, she put a small piece of her soul into this locket, or this amulet, in case something happened to her, a la Morrigan. And Anders is completely baffled by it. Like, what the fuck kind of magic is that?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah. How does that work?
Oh, my poor sweet boy. Don't worry about what the witch does.
Yeah. Probably a bad idea to also anger the witch.
Yeah. And Flemeth just gives us a lot of prophetic things. She talks about how she's a fly in the ointment and how she's also just a crazy old woman.
Yeah. I don't buy
And
it.
I'm just like, uh-huh. No matter what, bad things are coming. Bethany says that we're going to regret bringing Flemeth to Sundermount. And Flemeth responds with, don't hang on to that regret because it's going to poison you.
Interesting.
She says so many interesting things. No path is darker than when your eyes are shut. You have my thanks and my sympathy. Like, you are so cryptic. Just tell us what's going on, please.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that ties this Flemeth most to the Flemeth from the first game, because aesthetically is completely different. And it only dawned on me today that when we first meet Flemeth, it is during the events of Dragon Age Origins, but she looks completely different. And it's like, and part of that is, I'm sure, like, when you meet her as the warden, she's trying to look like a crazy old lady. She doesn't want to be taken seriously. She wants people to write her off. Whereas when you meet her as Hawk, she is in her full power. She is her truest form, I'm assuming, although who the hell knows. But she is this very strange character. And like, I don't remember her even coming up in Inquisition. Again, Inquisition I've only played 1.5 times. So yeah, I only half remember, but I'm sure she does. Yeah, Frankie's making faces. Anyway, we'll get to that. I'm sure once we get to it, I'll remember. But again, it's only been 1.5 times that I've played that game, so my memory is weak at best. Frankie's still making faces silently.
I'm trying so hard to just not say things.
I know. I mean, you can say it to me off air because I probably experienced it. I just don't remember.
Chat. No, I'm not going to say it to you off air because if you don't remember, I want you to re-experience it and be like, what the fuck?
Okay. Fair enough.
Chat, we will talk about it on the Discord server. So if you're curious what we're talking about, please join our Discord server. We'll give you that information later. Anyway. She knows so much more than she's saying, and then she just leaves.
Yeah, she
turns into a dragon and flies away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's it. It was a very short mission. When we return to Marathari, she tells us our debt is paid, and then she tries to change Meryl's mind, but Meryl is just like, nope.
I'm going.
I'm gonna go live in the alienage with all the other elves and be oppressed in a different way.
Yeah, to be fair, I think Meryl doesn't quite realize what she signed up for with going to the alienage until we get there, and then her face kind of drops like, oh, this is where elves live?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's so struck by the poverty and the overcrowding, and she does say something that, you know, you've definitely felt this, where you are just in a packed room, but you feel really alone.
Yes.
And that is what Meryl is experiencing right now. It's like, I am surrounded by my people, but I've never felt more alone in my life.
Right. I mean, it's easy to feel that way in parts of Manhattan, I feel like, because it's so overcrowded. Like wandering through Times Square alone, if you're not with friends, can feel very lonely, even though you're surrounded by masses of people.
Fuck Times Square.
Yeah. I mean,
every time I talk to somebody here and they find out that I'm from New York City, their response is, oh, I've been to Times Square. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that to yourself? Anyway, so we reassure her. She asks us to visit. Did you go visit Meryl?
Of course. She, when you do go visit, she is flustered and very apologetic that all she has is water.
She's so cute. She just takes a moment to be like, I only have water. I don't know why I'm offering you anything. She wants to thank us for bringing her there. She believes that she needs to be there, and she hasn't had a lot of friends growing up, so we are kind of like her first friend.
Yeah.
In a way. I got rivalry from this interaction, and I don't know how.
Huh.
I thought I was nice.
Yeah, I don't think I got rivalry. I don't quite remember. I feel like I would have been put off if I got rivalry because I was trying to be supportive in this moment with her.
Yeah,
I'm guessing one of your responses, but I don't know.
Maybe.
So quick to be snarky.
I don't think I was.
Okay.
I don't remember, but I thought that I was being nice. Anyway, I did have a note here that I didn't expand on while I was thinking about it, but I'm going to pitch it anyway, and we'll see if there's something there. Meryl and Tally, leaving your people for the good of your people. Is there anything there?
I mean, yes, maybe. I don't really remember, again, because I've only played most of the Dragon Ages only a couple of times. I don't, the memories of these games are not as strong as the Mass Effect games. So I cannot remember if Meryl's trajectory is that way. Also, I can't remember if Meryl's even mentioned in Inquisition, which she may or may not be.
I don't think she is.
And so, like, yes, I feel like the impact is obviously stronger with Tali because we're so wrapped in it, especially if you end up pursuing her as a relationship.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the pilgrimage, by the way, because that is something that is approved by her people. I'm talking more of, like, choosing the Voss Normandy name.
Right, and deciding to continue to adventure with Shepard for the betterment of everyone instead of rejoining the flotilla.
I feel like there is a mirror between Tally and Meryl.
I think so.
But I think Tally has a lot more support than Meryl does.
Right. Also, on a meta level, Tally has a lot more character development than Meryl does too, which is, I think, easier to chart that path. But I can see the parallels. I understand what you're saying. I think the where it differs is Meryl is knowingly engaging in something blasphemous, whereas Tally not necessarily is. I mean, I guess
she kind of is. I mean, when you think about it with the guest.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's true, especially since she allies with Legion in the second game, which goes against everything. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's something there.
I think there is. If you, the listener, have any thoughts about Tally and Meryl, and if there is a mirror there, please write in. Oh, speaking of, we got some emails.
Did we?
Yeah, we got some emails. I can't believe I almost forgot about this.
Before we get to emails and Fandom Corner, I do want to shout out a specific community member, Troidal Power, who very recently finished Origins for the first time and shouted us out in the Troidal Power does for their Patreon a like end credits thing where Troidal Power will talk about like the game briefly, do like a 4-minute summary, and shouted us out in that and talked about listening along with us book club style as Troidal Power played through it. And so I just want to thank them for that. That is awesome. That's the intent of this podcast, but we don't often like hear back about it. We hear, sometimes, but like it's nice to have that reminder that folks are listening to the podcast as intended while playing along, because that's how we design it. And so it's always a blast to hear. So shout out to Troidal Power. Go check out their podcast. Go check out their Patreon. Yeah, awesome stuff.
And just be sure to check them out in general.
Correct.
And just be like, damn.
Exactly.
We got 2 really long emails from a listener named Cal. Cal, I adore you. This is a very long and detailed email, and I'm not going to read the entire thing on air, but I am going to read some of it. So, greetings, Frankie and Matt. Wanted to thank both of you for making Reignite and try to explain how much this podcast has meant to me. Have been eagerly rushing through my play and listen along, and wanted to wait until finishing the Shepard trilogy to message, but only managed to wait until finishing ME2. Sorry for the length, but tried to at least make it well organized. And you did. You did make it very well organized, which I appreciate. None of my friends play Mass Effect, and I am too anxious for social media. Finding a podcast that lets me listen to Mass Effect discussion and analysis by good and thoughtful people almost feels like being part of the conversation about it. That has been wonderful. Despite the series' flaws, which I am not afraid to acknowledge, and I'm glad that you aren't either. This series is among my most intense and longest lasting special interests, a reference point for how I think of stories, and having to hold back on frequently mentioning it to avoid annoying people is not always easy. Reignite being a place where this kind of love for Mass Effect is celebrated provides a sort of catharsis, which I love to hear. And I relate to you very deeply, my friend. Every time someone tries to hit on me using Mass Effect, I'm like, oh, you do not know the can of worms that you're about to open. I'm about to become an unskippable cutscene. And, like, you like this thing a normal amount. I like this thing to the point where I've written papers about it. And you and I, Cal, we are the same. I'm going to skim a bit with poorly contained enthusiasm, Callie. P.S. The pod description on, this is for you, webmaster. My name is not listed correctly on the CPOV website.
Oh, I can probably adjust that.
Yes. And then we got a second email from Cal. That they've reached the end of season 3, amazing discussion and analysis. A little sad that the Shepard trilogy episodes are over, but it was a magnificent experience. Thank you again for creating such an awesome podcast. Time to slow down and pick up the other hobbies I dropped to rush through the Shepard trilogy with the pod. Probably, unsurprisingly, have prepared another installment of Callie is intimidated by joining the Discord, but has thoughts it would be painful to keep to themselves, which they really hope are interesting to read. Callie, I love you. Please join the Discord.
Yes. All stuff is welcome there.
Sorry and or you're welcome. You seem like the kind of folks who will be understanding of the anxious but still compelled to share thoughts thing, but I would feel rude if I did not apologize. Will definitely convince myself to join the Discord someday. I really hope that you do. P.S. Approaching season 4 got me thinking about Andromeda, and I convinced myself to buy it again next time Steam has it on sale. Yes!
Nice.
Instead of just listening without playing along. Unlike the Shepard trilogy, I have not played Andromeda in maybe 6 or 7 years, but it really is underappreciated and worth returning to. I'm so glad that you agree. Also planning to finally read the Andromeda tie-in novels. Been putting them off far too long, especially the one co-written by N.K. Jemisin. I didn't know that she co-wrote one. I can use words.
Words are
I'm
hard.
getting a PhD. Thanks for giving me the nudge I needed, but until that sale comes, we'll skip to Dragon Age. Valid, respectable, and I appreciate you. Callie, you are 1 in a million. Thank you for all of your wonderful thoughts. I'm just going to pick one at random to read. Samantha Trainer, because we love a gay. One of the best new characters in Mass Effect 3, not much to add to what you've said on the pod, just I enjoy how nervous she gets in the early game about Shep being nice to her, but for different reasons depending on whether it comes from Fem Shep or Bro Shep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I love that.
Gay panic.
Yeah, Cal, thank you for this. I promise I'll go back and read the whole thing. I've kind of been under a rock as far as working on a bunch of stuff, but this is excellent. Like, I welcome anyone to write us a dissertation on all the things they feel about these characters, because it's just, that's why we do this. The outburst that you're having here is why we have this podcast, so we don't send people we don't know 10-page emails, even though it's totally acceptable. But basically, I'm a bad writer, so instead I wanted to talk about it.
You're not a bad writer.
Oh, whatever.
Don't you whatever me.
I'll whatever you all I want.
Everyone, Matt is an excellent writer, and you can definitely find that out for yourself by going to their Patreon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, so thank you, Cal. You're fantastic. We adore you. Shall we move on?
Yes, let's move on.
All right. Fantastic. I'm your biggest fan. I'll buy your merch until I'm broke, babe. Fandom Corner. Welcome to my segment, Fandom Corner, where we talk about fun, amazing artists and the things that they create based on our fandoms of choice. Today, we are going to be talking about Lil Shop of Husbands. Lil Shop of Husbands is run by Lev and Jack, a dynamic duo creating art out of Craigavon. I've been living in Northern Ireland for 2 years, and I still don't know how most things are pronounced.
To be fair, they make it extra difficult.
They do. Do you know how many towns there are that begin with Bally?
I don't.
Ballymoney, Ballerina, Ballycastle. Why?
I don't.
Northern Ireland answer. Anyway, I'm just going to read the about from their Patreon because that sums it up way better than I can. Hiya, we're Lev, they, she, and he, and Jack, he, they. We're 2 disabled queer artists who love creating art, specifically lots of fan art and original character pieces. Lev likes making art in the vein of gothic horror and Art Nouveau styles, and Jack likes to draw all kinds of men, as well as silly little stickers. Really, we're just husbands that like to draw queer men kissing other men and or non-binary people. I love them. They're another artist duo that I met at QCon. I got their business card. Look at this adorable business card,
It's like
Matt.
a Magic the Gathering card. That's awesome. I love that.
It is a Magic
it is a Magic the
Gathering
Gathering card. That's amazing.
It's really cute.
It's nice.
It is the Leviathan Golem. I will take a good picture of it and send it to you because it's really adorable.
Amazing.
So, like I said, their business card is a magic card. They do prints, stickers, charms, pins, and bookmarks. Their fandoms include Dungeon Meshi, Baldur's Gate 3, horror and slasher films, and, of course, Legend of Zelda. They have this collection of stickers, which I call their trash animal collection because it's all possums and raccoons and crows and various things. They have crows with hats as stickers. And, of course, who can forget every Baldur's Gate 3 companion wearing the same ridiculous robe? You know the one. All as a sticker set. And I want to buy every single sticker that they have for sale because they're all fantastic. You can find them all over the social media. They are on Instagram as @SaintMalev. Malev. Etsy at the Lil, 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 Shop of Husbands. Patreon at Lev and Jack Create. Tumblr at Saint Lethanavir. I'm not going to try and spell that. And then YouTube at Saint Malev Draws. You can find all of that in our show notes. Please follow them on social media. Please check out their shop. Buy some stickers. Buy me some stickers. They're all fantastic.
And of course, as always, the Etsy shop will be linked in the show notes down below.
Yeah. I just love how many stalls at QCon had Dungeon Meshi and Baldur's Gate. Just like those were the two things that were just everywhere.
Yeah, Dungeon Meshi is apparently huge. And there's like, I believe the anime is on Netflix. I've been wanting to watch it because I've heard good things.
It's very good.
Yeah, I don't watch
you would like it a lot.
Unless I'm watching TV with my spouse, I rarely watch TV. Right now, I'm making my way very slowly. I just finished X-Men 97 finally, which was incredible. You have to watch it.
I will. I think Sarah would also like.
Yeah,
Dungeon Meshi.
Right now, we're working on the original Cowboy Bebop, which they've been enjoying, and so I'm trying to work on that one first. But yeah,
that's valid, and I respect it.
There's a new Batman series that just came out, which I have not gotten through yet. But Hamish Linklater is now the voice of Batman, and this one's also produced and I think written by oh my God, I just lost his name. Bruce Timm. Is that right?
Tim Bruce.
It's not Tim Bruce. The original creator of the original animated series. If I got the name wrong, so be it. I'm not going to look it up at this moment. But yeah, anyway.
I'm calling him Bruce Timm.
Sure. Okay, fine.
Or Tim Bruce. Tim Bruce is what I meant. Yeah. I'm calling him Tim Bruce, and that is the end of it. I'm watching Leverage again.
Oh, God. Again?
And White Collar again.
Sure, you do you. I don't rewatch shows, or very rarely at least.
I do, because they give me a fuzzy feeling inside.
It's fair.
I love watching capitalist assholes get what they deserve.
I mean, that's legit. That is legit.
And that is prison. So that is very fun for me. And that is why I rewatch Leverage all the time.
Fair enough.
Anyway. Our next episode, we are going to be tackling the Bone Pit.
Yeah, nothing possibly bad could go wrong there.
Well, it's such a sunshiny place.
So if you want to keep up with us, do the mission that takes you to the Bone Pit, and we will be going over that in the next episode.
Yeah, I have no idea if it's even enough content for an episode, but we'll see.
We'll see.
If you like what you heard here, don't forget to follow us on social media. We're at ReignitePod on Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram, Facebook.com/ReignitePod, or you can send us an email at reignitepod@gmail.com, just like Callie did. You can also find us on Twitter at FrankieBWrites and at DJ_Stormageddon, and on Blue Sky, we're FrankieBWrites and DJ Stormageddon with no underscore, because Blue Sky still hasn't figured out that Stormageddon really needs that underscore as part of their brand.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
You're just never going to let that go, huh?
Nope.
Okay, great. Good. That's wonderful for all of us. Please rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcatcher if you can. It helps other people find us and join in the conversation. Ratings and reviews are really, really helpful. If you can't throw money at our various Patreons or Venmos or whatever, this is the best free way to support us. Places like Spotify, iTunes, or it's Apple Pods now, whatever the hell they're calling it, Pocket Casts, all of them either have rating or reviews, and it helps push us to the top of the algorithm. So when people are looking up blood magic, well, actually, I don't know what else you would find besides this for blood magic, to be honest, but one never knows.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
If you can't source your own blood, store-bought is fine.
Oh, God.
Shout out to Spoon Spooner, who has followed us on YouTube.
Yeah, appreciate that.
We got an email about it, so I felt like it was important to share.
Sure.
We're members of the Certain Point of View Network. Visit certainpov.com to find more nerdy podcasts, each with a unique point of view. You can also find a permanent invite link to our Discord server on the website. So don't forget to join the conversation. That means you, Callie.
Yeah, we would love to see you there. There's also conversations going on all the time about video games in the broad, comics, TV shows, movies, all sorts of stuff, books, literally anything your heart can envision we have discussed on the Discord, and it's a lot of fun. It's been pretty lively over there these days, and I'm grateful for it. As for personal plugs, I guess this is the first time this is airing since it's happened. Unfortunately, last Friday, as of when we were recording, after a 33-year run, Game Informer was shut down by GameStop without warning, laying off its entire 13-person staff and myself as the contract editor of the Game Informer show. It's awful and it sucks, and I'm not going to get into it here, but if you want to support, don't worry about me. I have my 2 podcasts. I have a day job. I have a bunch of other stuff I'm working on. But if you want to support Alex Van Aken, who got me that gig, he just launched, as of when we're recording yesterday, something called Viewport, which is going to be his documentary. And he'd been doing documentaries for Game Informer for years, is now doing them independent, and has a Patreon and all of that stuff. And you should go check that out. But really support any of the Game Informer staff in their future endeavors as they are trying to find the next thing that they are working on. So I still have a link to the podcast as of now on my my link tree, just because it was great work and I'm proud of it. I will probably eventually remove it just because it's not current. But you can find me here. And then, of course, on Fun and Games, we have a Patreon for Fun and Games. If you want to check out my writing, that's the best place to do it. You can see that for free. You can vote in polls for free. And then there's a ton of bonus content you can get access to if you want to throw us a couple bucks. If you want to find any of that stuff, you can go to djstormageddon.com. That's the best way to find everything that I am working on.
And as for me, I have nothing on deck at the moment. I am going to be home for a couple of weeks in the U.S., so I'm just dealing with that right now. If you enjoy the work that I do on Reignite, you can kick me a couple of bucks through my Venmo at FrankieBrad because, I don't know, just because you like me, because I'm cute.
Sure, why
If you
not?
have a crush on me, send me $10.
There you go. Influx of $10.
If John is listening to this, I will get $10.
I know. Yeah, he's predictable in that way.
And if my brother is listening to this, I will get a request to pay him $10.
Right, exactly.
Like, please give me $10 for having to hear that.
Yeah. We'd also like to thank, of course, the incredible Case Aiken for developing some awesome t-shirt designs that you can find at certainpov.com or on the Teespring. And, of course, Case designs each and every episode's individual show art, and we are grateful for it, especially since Case is in over his head with a new baby and probably not having played the games recovering. So, thank you for all your work. We appreciate it.
At this point, is the baby still new?
I mean,
I think it's an old baby by now.
I mean, in theory, the baby has a long way to go till being old. So I'd say yes, the baby is still new at this point.
I think that's relative.
Okay, thanks. Semantics.
I think that baby is older than a lot of other things.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we'd like to thank Miracle of Sound for our new theme music.
And, of course, we want to thank the one and only Red Spinks for our Dragon Age-inspired logo. To see more of his work, you can go to Cast His Art on Instagram.
You should commission Red for work, because Red is amazing. If you're not commissioning Red, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep.
And lastly, thank you for listening. I'm Frankie.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon. And remember, all Templars are bastards.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this light, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Hawk, 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 Hawk.
Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun. Whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
CertainPOV.com.